Hello, good evening. Sava here from Sava Talks Football, along with Pete from at North London and Kuva from everywhere. Kuva from the Free Spurs Boys, Kuv and the Kang. Guys, haven't seen you for about 24 hours on stream. How are we doing? You all right?
I haven't seen you for a while. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's good to get back to the football.
Yeah, it's been a while, Kuva. It's been a while. Listen, first of all, thanks, chaps. Thanks for joining. Thanks for jumping on. It's been a Spursy day. It's been what we thought. Newcastle managed to get a win. Man United won yesterday. Arsenal have managed to beat Spurs. And I'm going to just ask this. I'm going to start the chat with this. And first of all, everyone in the chat, hello, welcome. Please like, please subscribe. Please put your thoughts in the chat. Keep it clean. Keep it clean, guys. I know. Pete, I'm going to start with you. Tottenham Hotspur in May, we finished 2 points above Arsenal. We finished above this Arsenal team, 1 or 2 points into fourth. Fast forward 7 months, we're now 14 points behind them, and they have a game in hand. Pete, sum it up. What's happened, mate? What on earth has happened?
Nothing. Nothing's happened. That's why it's happened, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
We don't do nothing of significance, so we go backwards. It's the same old shit every fucking time. Always. Don't do nothing. Stand still from a position of strength. We stand still, and lo and behold, we end up going backwards again. But today, for me, is all on one man, and that's Antonio Conte. He has got to go now. No two ways about it. You cannot pick that team, that formation against them, knowing full well how they're playing. You've already had it done to you once. And it's like going to fight a geezer and he's battered you. You go back the same time for another go. You don't take a baseball bat with you this time. You know what I mean? It's just embarrassing. But the players he picked, the formation. I mean, putting Paul Sarr in there to get absolutely torn to shreds. Sessegnon. I mean, what was that about? It was a joke. It's an absolute joke. Everything we said would happen was going to happen, and it happened. Right. And for me, we got away with 2-0. That flattered us really, because that could have been anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Kuva, look, for me, I know what fans will do. They'll jump on and go, oh, my God, Savvy, you're not more upset that we've just lost to Arsenal. But like Pete said, we knew it, right? I mean, I can't be upset because we knew that Conte would go in with 2 versus 3. We knew he'd do something silly like starting Sessegnon over Perisic, who has, and I can't take credit for this. Pete said to me before the game, Perisic is the one who's provided most of our assists from corners and set pieces where we've been good. He's on the bench. Basuma's on the bench behind Sarr. Mate, we can't be confused as to what's just happened, can we? It was always going to happen, wasn't it?
No, nonsense. Look at the stats. We had more shots than them. must have been good.
Yeah.
We're just unlucky. Bad referee and VAR robbed us.
Yeah, must be that one.
If we'd been the home team, it would have been all different.
Yeah.
I think if we get a bigger stadium and make more beer, I think that would probably turn things around for us. Can't expect it overnight because if we carry on ploughing through this transfer window and backing Conte like the club does, we will turn this around in no time. I'm actually planning on my trip to London for the end of the season for the open top bus ceremony.
Any more sarcastic lies that you could tell, or are you finished?
Yeah, plenty if you want, mate. I could keep going all night.
Good. I mean,
Paratici's going to turn it around as well. He's picked out the players we needed in the summer. We're now improved to the point we're smashing Arsenal in the home game, like we did last season. Big improvement, isn't it? Yeah. I'm just generally a little bit too happy to. It's like smiling too much and your mouth can't do it and it breaks.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. Look, Kuva, all jokes aside, I mean, we've got fans that truly went into this game saying Arsenal are not that good. We can beat them. I'll call him out. I bet he won't ever say anything. Lee McQueen, 7 of our 11 gets in above them. Fans agreeing with him. Lee McQueen also said we can finish above Arsenal.
7 of our 11 get in there.
Hoover, they're 14 points ahead with a game in hand, right? Let's just assume they lose the game in hand. We still need to win 5 more games this season than they do in the next 18 or 17 to finish above them. What a shambolic...
Don't forget, they've got a game in hand as well. If they
That's
win that, if we win, there'll be 6 games in a row we'd have to win them and they lose.
Exactly. If they win that game in hand, yeah, they're 17 points clear. And I'm still seeing Spurs fans unable to tell the truth. I'm baffled by it, Coover. Honestly, this show is going to be about harsh truths. I'm so baffled by our fan base right now. I really am.
Let's go. As I'm seeing it, and I've been saying it all season. I think we all have here, haven't we? I think we have shit ownership with no direction whatsoever, no vision of how the club's run, no understanding of how the football's run. They don't know what they're talking about when they use terminology like DNA of the club. They do not have the faintest idea what the DNA of this club is. The only thing they've done is remove all traces of it. We've got a manager now who's used to working with quality players, probably can do a good job again somewhere else. He's not going to be given that here at any point ever. Correct. So he's pointless. We've got a director of football that makes hit and miss signings that are they for this manager? Are they for another one? It's a bit of everything, isn't it? There's no plan with him either. Seems to be just a glorified version of yet another yes man for Daniel Levy. And we got players that can't play football. And the sort of football they're being asked to play, let's start building out from the back, playing out from the back. Is there anybody else that does the same as I do? When we get a goal kick and Hugo has the ball at his feet, there's 2 defenders on the edge, on the corners of the 6-yard box, and you start doing, oh my God, I hope we get this past the halfway line.
Right.
We're shocked, yet there's no problem apparently for Conte with the defence. I don't believe that. We haven't got the players to play it from the back. We haven't got the players to maintain it in midfield. We play 2-man midfield where we're all saying before the game, and I think everybody is saying it, we're going to get overrun in that midfield. It wasn't just overrun. We didn't have one. They had acres of space whenever they got the ball. How many times did you see a player just outside our penalty area in 10 yards of space? There's nobody there. There's nothing. It's not the fact that this happened and it was really shit. It's the fact it's predictable. This is what we do. This is how we play. It's a fucking joke, this club. Absolute fucking joke. Nothing is changing. Only Levy out matters. I no longer give a shit if we get relegated, if that helps. I don't care. Absolute disaster in every competition. Just get smashed. I've lost all hope. There's no way forward under this.
For me,
yeah. I mean, Pete.
Today, sorry, I suppose for me today, I think for this game and for what we saw, I think park the Levy out bit for now. I think that is not relevant to this fixture. What we saw, for me, that was all. This was all about Conte and what he did. And David Clark, Sarr was run all over the place. I'm not saying he was poor. He was just outnumbered every time. To put him into that situation is very poor management. His first full debut, and you put him into a 2-man midfield against a 3-man midfield. It ends up being a 4-man midfield when they get the ball. And the league leaders is just really poor management.
Look, guys, what I want to talk about, let's start off. Let's talk about the team selection. No. Let's talk about it. Pete, the first thing I said to you when I saw this team, we're on the same WhatsApp group, is Conte. I'm sorry, the excuse from so many will be Levy and Enoch at the end of the day. And of course, the bigger picture is. But when you look at that lineup, at Sessegnon over Perisic, at Sarr over Basuma in a North London derby, and we talked about this midweek, and 2 in midfield against Arsenal's 3. I'm sorry, mate, but at what point do any of our fans actually come on and go, yeah, Conte has messed up a number of games now?
Yeah, again, it's exactly the same. What happened last game we played these lot has just repeated itself. How can you have the same thing happen twice in the same manner? It probably a worse manner of anything, because they smashed us all over the place in the first half, and then second half they got deck chairs out. Really, they just said, "Well, come on, then, what can you do?" And we had a bit of a huff and a puff, but really, it was the game was over. They probably could have gone another couple of gears if they wanted to. But yeah, the team selection. You look at, as I said, the main source of goals this season has been set pieces, with Perisic being the one who's providing them assist. Yeah, well, we'll bench him today. That's a good idea. I think the obvious what the commentator was saying, and possibly is that they thought his pace could, Sessegnon's pace can handle Saka. No, yeah, and you saw what Sessegnon was going to offer. I was just talking to Coop about this before we came on. He got up the line straight away, first cross, smashed it up someone's arse, and then his second cross was even worse. And you fucking here we go. We get in good positions twice, and then it comes to him, and then that's what he does. The midfield two is just baffling. I mean, as I said, Son will steal another appearance fee, which he did today. He was absolutely shocking. Where's all these people who said yesterday, you can't bench him, he always scores in this game, he'll turn up tomorrow, all that? What are the bollocks? Where was he today? Nowhere. He wasn't the only one, but...
Yeah, I don't buy into this bullshit that no manager is going to get anything out of these players.
No,
I think there's plenty
no
of
manager will do that. No manager will do that.
Yeah.
You don't do, if you know you come up, you've had it done to you once, so you know, right, what happened to me last time I played these lot? Well, I played two midfield and I got absolutely run ragged. They fucking swamped us through. Players were getting. It was Odegaard today. Last game, it was Party, wasn't it? Who had the freedom of the pitch to pick his corner and bosh. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, I'll do the same again. But instead of the two I put before, I put in a young kid who's got for his first start in the league. I'll put him into that. I mean, there's out the frying pan into the fire. That was into the fucking inferno. You know what I mean? And I thought he actually did all right. So I thought him, Kane and Kulu were probably the only ones who come out with any sort of credit to sort of having a go and trying. I think Kulu was rusty. You could see he was rusty, but he was trying. And his passing and his shooting was a bit rusty, but he still had a go. You think 3 weeks into him being back, them sort of going in.
Can I just say something? Right. I mean, it's like, Brian Daigle, listen, bro, you know, me and you are tight. I love you to the moon and back. I'll do anything for you. You do anything for me. But, dude, at what point are we allowed to admit now that Conte is getting games very badly wrong?
That was sabotage.
I don't understand why not everything needs to now be the board. The board are terrible. We have to get rid of them. I can't state that enough. But Kuva, if you remember, Kuva, do you remember before the North London derby the first time? So the Emirates this season, loads of us said, didn't we? Don't play a 2 against their 3. Do not play a 2. And we got overrun. And today, not only did he play a 2, but he played a 2 with someone making their full debut in the Premier League. For me, this is suicide. That is management suicide. I can only assume at this point, right, that he does not want to be here, because that is not a manager that wanted to win this game.
No.
Yeah, I agree. I think we said it earlier in the season. I'm seeing a manager that doesn't believe in the players who don't believe in the manager, and absolutely nobody around that's going to do anything about it.
Right. This is absolutely it.
That is it. Yeah. Going to linger on, isn't it, until someone goes for it.
Yeah, sack him.
Sack
him or he walks out. Yeah.
We are not by any means taking away from Enoch. Before I get look, the numbers are ridiculous. I don't think I've had this many in one of my shows before. There's 625 people in the chat. I have never, ever taken away from wanting Enoch and Levy out. But sometimes we have to address the game at hand. And this is now, I mean, people will go, oh, well, the second half was good. Well, was it? It wasn't good. Arsenal had won the game in the first half. They'd won the game in the first half. Hadn't they, Kuva? It was done.
Yeah. If your team's only capable of shoveling shit, get a farmer in to organise them.
Well, my point is this, Kuva. As we've said before, do you remember when AVB got sacked and the results started to resemble like the first half of today?
I was there for that game, that 5-0 against Liverpool.
Jose was playing football like this, and it was, he's got to go, he's a dinosaur. Redknapp towards the end, it was, oh my God, he's lost the dressing room. Conte, I mean, if he had the dressing room last season, Kuva, he's lost it, right? This is not a team playing for him at all, is it?
No, there's nothing there. Absolutely nothing. We're talking about it before the game, well, during the 24-hour stream. We're saying that the very least you expect as a diehard, well, not even a diehard fan, if you pay money to go and watch that game, you expect the full level of commitment, chasing things down. It play like it matters. That's the bit that wasn't there. It didn't matter. It just didn't matter. No. Give them as much space as they want. Let them play the ball around wherever they want. Don't bother chasing anybody down. Don't have any sort of structure. It's like, just wait and something's going to happen out of nothing. Sick the death of it. And I agree. I'll give Conte absolutely no credit for anything at the moment. It's just, what are we doing? I don't believe in any. I would happily take Harry Redknapp back at the moment. I'd happily put Ryan Mason in.
Sure. Ryan Mason MVP back at the moment.
No, let's not go that far. It'll be much of the same with him. I think Ryan Mason's a good shout from Bobsborough. He's been saying it for a while now.
Just get him in. I'm bored now.
Because at least he doesn't cost anything, really, does he? His record as manager isn't actually all that bad. We aren't going to notice a lot of difference.
But Kuva
win anything, but it's cheap, and nobody can really get on Ryan Mason's back because nobody expects him to win anything.
Right. So let me ask you this: if Ryan Mason had put that on today, we'd all be going, well, he's not that good a manager anyway. But the thing for me is that this is where our fans will never get it. Look at this. So you blame Conte for Lloris's shitty game, clown fan base. Sorry, no. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
Lloris made a mistake. Of course he did. Lloris needed to have gone years ago. But we didn't just lose that game because of one Lloris mistake. They peppered us in the first half. They were all over us. Sessegnon didn't even get close to Saka to cross that ball. A good fullback is touch tight. Yeah? Stop that cross coming in. At the end of the day, I am absolutely sick of this fan base not being able to tell the truth, right? At the end of the day, if this was any other manager, and I'll stick by this, I've said it to you guys for a year now, any other manager doesn't get the backing that Conte's getting now. I'm so fed up with this. The squad. Pete, Kuva, I'll come to you first, Pete. We've seen worse squads and worse managers put up better fights in North London derbies than that. That was
going to be my next thing. We've had a chasm between the two clubs at points, and there have been better performances than that. At least I had a go. Yeah, for me, it all comes from the manager, the way he's been setting the team up, his tactics. I think the players are done. The players are checked out. We can see that. I think in the end they turn it on just for themselves.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd never say this, but fuck it, get Pochen. Just do it. Just fucking do it.
I don't even want him back. I'd have him all day over this guy. I can't stand Conte as a manager.
No, just do it. Just do it. Get him in. Let him finish the season out, and then plan for the summer. At least then, because I think if you put in a Mason, which I understand the argument for, but then you ain't going to stick with him. So then in the summer you got to put a new manager in who's then got to assess the squad, all that sort of bollocks. Yeah, not that should take him too long, but just do it now. It's obvious it's going to happen. It's obvious it's what everyone's waiting for. So just fucking do it. Just do it and try and save something of the season at least and get something out of it. Saying, well, we're sort of working towards next year now, because it is just. That first half was worse than Nuno's first half when he picked Højbjerg and Ndombele and Dele Alli in midfield.
I agree.
He had more chances in that half than it. That first half was probably the worst I've ever seen. I've never seen us so inferior in a long time. Even against City and Liverpool, better.
Just quickly, Kuva, just before I come into you, guys, there's 672 of you in the chat, so welcome to every one of you. What I would say is I'll put it out there right now. At 9 o'clock when we finish, follow me over to Henry Wright for the Spurs Corner. Let's make sure that happens. Let's support all the Spurs channels. Anyone that's new to the channel, please like, please subscribe. Please subscribe to Pete at North London Is. Please subscribe to Kuva, Free Spurs Boys, Kuva and the Kang. Please like the channel. Please like the show. We've got 681, only 164 likes. Kuva, I'm going to come to you on this. Somebody in the chat just said, and I'm sorry, I can't see. I can't see all the. There's so many comments. Is this Peter Kipper said, Sava? I'm convinced nothing takes place in training. They just run around and do F all tactically.
Yeah.
Can you make him wrong?
I can't see anything to suggest that's wrong.
I agree. I
can't. You watch what Arsenal do. They've got patterns of play. They've got a clear plan. When we're in possession, this one time you saw Zinchenko. He was all over the place. Yeah, that's a clear plan. And then Xhaka moves forward, and Zinchenko takes up the space. He does. Clear pattern of play. I mean, if you listen to Merson after the game, and I don't normally agree with that idiot, but I don't think I've ever agreed with him more. As he said, you look at Arsenal, they're coached well, they got patterns of play, everything's there. You look at Spurs, and we're just trying to do it off the cuff. If something happens, it happens, and that's what you see every week.
Yeah, I mean, look at some of the most basics of football, playing in little triangles. All clubs do this. You play it doing 5-a-side games, you play it doing full pitch games. Look what happens when Arsenal are doing it. Man moves into space, man gets the ball. Another player moves into space, they get the ball, and so on and so on. When we do it, under pressure, a panicked hit somewhere, lose the ball. We even do it in our own half. Even when we've got controlled kick, first kick from the goal kick, we do it. We're incapable of doing that. That cannot be just all 11 on-field players have suddenly gone shit overnight, including Kane and Son and Kulusevski. I'm not buying that at all. It's got to be something going on with that training pitch.
I agree.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. Listen, we're going to come on to Enoch and Levy big time in about half an hour. But for me, I'm getting a little bit fed up of, for 20 years, 22 years under these owners, every other manager that's ever been here has been given stick. Every time we do a show with with a result like that, any other manager gets stick. For some reason, this manager seems to be immune. I don't get it. If today he had gone 3 in the middle to counteract their 3, if Perisic had played, if Basuma had played, you go, okay, cool. But that team, that formation, I don't understand.
For me, it's easy why people hang on to the Conte dream. It's because of what happened when what happened in the summer after Mason had finished his little stint as caretaker manager, and then we had that how long before we got a new manager in? 73 odd days. Then it was Nuno, and people are thinking better back Conte, otherwise it's more of that shit again. And I get that. It's just desperation though. If you look at what's actually happening on the pitch, I don't see how people can say, yep, we're definitely going forward. In fact, now the results and the league position are reflecting what we said was going to happen at the start of the season. Right. And that joint second place, we are going to slip away from it. And Arsenal are pulling away, and we're going in the opposite direction, waiting for their big collapse that's going to happen. It's fictional.
Kuva, do you remember in the summer when I was called negative for predicting Spurs to finish 4th?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Now that makes my prediction look positive.
You're insane, mate.
You look like the Queen.
I know.
Cover in the mud.
It was. Well, now people were putting those graphics up with here's our first 11, and then look at the players. There's a position. There's a backup in every position. Now it's just the players, not the manager.
I said 5th, and I'm feeling I fucking was over optimistic there.
Listen, some of my mates told me, like Pete, some of them like you told me, crazy for thinking 4th. I was trying to. That was me being ultra positive. Pete, you know me. Pete, you know me by now, right? That was me being ultra positive, saying 4th. I'm looking at it now, guys, and saying, okay, before the game, as a manager, you sit down and you go, don't you? You look at it and go, right, where are Arsenal strong? Right, what's their strength? Okay, their strength is the 2 in midfield have been brilliant all season. Right, Odegaard has been, for me, I'm going to say it, Spurs fans are going to hate me. For me, he's my player of the year. At the moment, he's my Premier League player of the year.
I'm not doing that.
Right?
The only one that beats him is Haaland if he gets like 40, 35 goals or something like that. That's it.
Right. So then you look at Odegaard in that hole and you think, right, come on, surely play free, say to one of the blokes, just be an annoying, be a fly on shit. Just anywhere he goes, you go. But we played a 2. None of them were picking up Odegaard. He got in all sorts of in positions, wriggled out of tight areas, and he dictated the game first half and punished us. But
it wasn't just Odegaard, though, was it? Look what happens when we get pressured at the back. We're go for this desperate long ball at the end of it, and usually lose it or it goes out for a throw-in. What happens when they got pressured at the back? Ping it around amongst each other, and one of their midfielders drops back into a ton of space and is open for a pass. That doesn't happen with us. Nobody drops into the space. They're just light years ahead of us in the way they play football at the moment. And the really, really embarrassing bit is people will say, oh, we're much improved in the second half, instead of realising within the first few seconds you could see Arsenal had dropped back. They're taking it easy. They're coasting. They're saving their energies for when they've got an actual difficult match.
For sure.
Because they knew it'd be easy to see the game out, and it was. A couple of half chances we had, but so did they at the same time. Us playing better in the second half was no. We're creating no more really than they were.
Can we talk about his substitutions as well? Now, I get it. Most of the time, he's the kind of criticism he gets for substitutions is difficult for us to level at him because the players on the bench aren't good enough. But then I look today and I think, okay, you've got Richarlison on the bench, you've got Perisic on the bench, you've got Basuma on the bench. He witnessed that first half, Pete. He witnessed that first half, didn't change a thing, didn't change formation, didn't change personnel. And I'm sitting there thinking, all right, when are you going to pull the trigger? 70 minutes in, we then see it, and then we finally, in about the 75th minute, 78th minute, or whatever, go to a 4. And I look at that and I go, what are you doing? Like, what was he doing, Pete?
Don't know. I mean, I said at half time in one of them groups, 15 groups that we've got, to pick that team is bad enough. To send it back out is unforgivable.
Agreed.
And exactly what it did. Bear in mind, Sessignon had been booked. Romero had been booked. You think you're just waiting for something to go wrong there. And
right.
I mean, how Romero didn't get sent off, I have no idea. He got away with murder on some of them. He's just waiting to happen. But you just think, right, at half time, you think, right, we've just had a paste in here. It's still 45 minutes. There's clearly the things that were obvious before the game were even more obvious at half time. Right, I've got to stop that. Yeah, stop that. And then sort of that's a platform to build on. I've got to change something because nothing is working. Yeah. And I mean, people say, oh, we did well in the second half. They just sat back. They was like, well, come on then. What have you got? Because they knew what was coming. The first 15 minutes, we were going to come out and try and do something. But in reality, they knew full well that if they just stay tight and let the players who are shit, which is most of them have the ball, we ain't going to do any damage. And let's be honest, Ramsdale made a couple of saves, but he wasn't man of the match. He was their man of the match, but it wasn't because he was making 15,000 saves. It was because of the way he was, the presence and everything else. And I see a lot of people talking about the owners and all that. What I will say is that where was that in the ground? Because after that half-time, full-time, I heard nothing in that stadium. Now, really, that should have been poison, yeah, given what we saw at the United game when Nuno made them subs. Where was that? I didn't hear none of that at all. And people who were at the game said the same thing. Nothing. So we can't say about the owners when they're in the ground and no one wants to make a noise about them after watching that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with any of that. I mean, Kuva, let's if it's okay with you, I want to talk about Hugo Lloris. I have a simple question for you. When people keep saying, it just makes me angry internally. Like, I've accepted Spurs for what they are. But when I keep saying, oh my God, you can't blame Conte for Lloris's mistake.
Right. Hugo Lloris, I mean, what a great player. I'll miss him.
But hang on, Kuva, my point is this. why can't I blame him when you bought in Fraser Forster? Why not give Fraser Forster a game? If this keeps happening and the manager doesn't change it and the manager doesn't say, you know what, Forster, go on, you go in today. How can again, Conte takes no blame. It is baffling.
Remember we were talking about how to build a team, a winning team. You get a great goalkeeper in at the back. You get a captain on the pitch that can convey your manager's way of playing football onto the rest of the team at all times. We've got both a goalkeeper that's not good enough that also happens to be the captain that's not good enough.
Yeah.
It's a massive flaw with this team at the moment. And considering he's making so many errors at the moment, it's time to get rid. This is the thing. It's not just us being edgy or anything. There's a hell of a lot of fans saying the same thing. Hugo's sell-by date is long gone. He should be in the skip out the back with some free guns having a go.
I mean, look, Pete, why doesn't he give Forster a game? We're seeing Lloris make mistake after mistake after mistake. Why is Forster not being given a game?
Don't know. It's not the first time I've had this conversation about him not picking a player. Why didn't Basuma get games when we saw what we saw? Why didn't Richarlison get a run when Son was playing dog shit every week? And look how long it took for that to happen. And in the end, he still didn't drop Son. He put Kudu in instead and then didn't help the situation one bit. I don't know. I mean, it's I think there's so many problems at the club. I think Hugo is not high on that list, and that's saying something. Do you know what I mean? Because he does do these rickets in big games. Yeah, every big game, he's got something in him. He's done it in the World Cup final, for fuck's sake, when he balls that up and got away with it. But it's we've got so many problems that is not highest on my list. It has to be done. It should have been done by now. You look at what they've done down the road. We keep talking about them, but they brought Ramsdale in when they still had Leno, who weren't even nowhere near his age as Lloris. We wait till the player's dead and then replace. We don't evolve. We replace. Where's the evolution? Where's the geezer who's been on the bench for a couple of years, and then for Hugo, has his swan song. Then you swap it over, and then Hugo sees out his career at the bench, or he goes somewhere else. We don't do that. We wait till the player's absolutely dead, and then go, right, I think we're changing that, and look where we are. And then it makes it even harder because at that time we've got not just Hugo's dead, the right wing back's dead, the left wing back's dead, the two centre halves are dead. It's fucking the left forward's dead.
I mean, Kuva, have a look at this comment for me. I mean, this is what makes me laugh, right? It's every managers who won everywhere suddenly forget how to coach. Same set of players got previous 3 managers fired. Can we put this myth to bed, Kuva, that it's not all the same players? Conte's had 9 signings since he's been here, right? He doesn't have to keep starting Sessegnon. He doesn't have to keep starting Eric Dyer, right? Do you know what I mean? He didn't have to start Heung-min Son. We keep saying it's the same players, but it's not. That can't be the excuse that it's the players that got Poch sacked and Jose sacked. There's been a lot of change in personnel.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't see that as being an excuse whatsoever anymore. If anything, I think our style of play's got even worse since Conte's become manager.
I agree. I think it's all.
You know why? He's a manager and not a coach. You give him a good players, and he will manage them to win something. But what we've got, which needs more of a coach, do some work on the training pitch, that's clearly not his forte. Yeah. Yeah.
You get the feeling his coaches are used to working with proper players to finish
products. Yeah, finished players, finished products. Yeah, where Spurs you don't get many of them. Yeah, and this is where the coaching element comes in. What we was talking about with Arteta, who's coached his team to play a certain way and everything else, and the young players. We don't. It's clearly not in Conte's locker. It's obviously the first time he's been asked to do it, and it's not in his locker. There's no shame in that. Some people just think not everyone's got every skill set. I'd probably say Mourinho's in the same bracket. He coaches finished players. He's not really one for the younger players and the sort of on the pitch coaching like that. He's more tactical. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with that. But that's where we are now, and that's why we have to make a change.
To get the perspective that today's performance, I would say that Eric Dyer was not really that bad.
He wasn't as bad as Romero. I'll give you that. Romero was,
and just about everybody else. I think Kulusevski played all right.
I just think he looks dreadfully unfit, mate. I thought he looked.
He does. He was still he was still our best player, I think.
I agree because he's got good touch, good control. But just quickly, I just want to say, I see so many people going, "Who are you bringing in, Sava? Who are you bringing in, Sava?" Listen, this isn't about getting a better manager in. My whole point is this: there's so many Spurs fans, Stephen, that are so brainwashed into thinking that we've got the serial winning manager, that he's going to do wonders here, and he's not. It doesn't matter who's here. So the point is, let's stop this circus every week. Let's stop these press conference where it's, are you staying this week? Are you going? I need this. There's no point. Nothing he's going to say is going to change the board. I know fans truly believe he's this really hardcore manager that's not a yes man. Nothing's going to change, right? Who bought Fraser Forster? Conte Lovelace. Have I stopped being gullible? I'm not being gullible. My point is this, and again, to M. Dot, was it Conte's fault Lloris pushed the ball in the net? This is the thing. We focus, guys, don't we, on these one mistake, this one error, and then it dissolves all blame from the manager. But as I said, he didn't have to play Hugo Lloris, right? He doesn't have to play.
He set up a team that allowed Odegaard 10 yards of space in any direction to have a shot.
Sorry, kids are back from their mums. I'm just going to say hello to them for a sec.
No, go, mate, go.
Okay, right.
Philo, I'm just looking for reasons to say it's Conte's fault. Mate, Philo, how many shows do you watch of me? I hate the owners, right? I hate the director of football, and I hate the manager. I think it's all of them. But at what point, Philo, come on to the show if you want to talk, right? At what point do you turn around and say, yeah, the manager got it wrong? Because you guys stick up for the manager every single game, yet he doesn't try anything, does he, Pete? He never goes to a back four to start a game. He never goes to a free in central midfield to nullify a player like Odegaard. So are we just sitting here saying that all the other managers we've had, it was their fault, they're terrible, but Conte gets a free pass, Pete?
Yeah, I can't with that. I mean, if he was using everything in the locker, then you can say fair enough. I mean, I gave Mourinho, forget what we said about Mourinho, but he tried everything to get something out of that squad. Yeah, he tried different formations, different players, and he had a lot worse than what Conte's got. But he tried everything to get something out, to get a team to work, and he couldn't, yeah? And then he got slaughtered for that.
Right.
Where Conte has come in, has done the same thing from the first day to the present day, yeah? Mm-hmm. And never tried anything new. Yeah, some people say he went 3-5-2 for a couple of games. He's still the mindset and the foot attacking football, lack of attack football was the same. Everything was the same. Yeah, and he's still a back three. Yeah, he has not tried anything different. And even today, it was like, what? Then it just like, well, what was going on there? And then he went to a midfield two. And 4 up front, and it was like there was no way to have the ball hold possession in midfield, because as soon as someone got the ball, you have to give it to the front man straight away or give it back to the defenders, because by that time there's 3 Arsenal players coming at them, so there was nothing, there was no sort of platform to build attacks from.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, Kuva, how this has split the fan base so much. Like, first of all, we've got the Levy in versus the Levy out, so we're fractured there. Now take it down to the next most important person at the club, the manager, because whatever we think, the owners are the most important people because they make decisions. Now you're getting so many that blame Conte for his part, not all of it, his part, and those that cannot and will not for anything. And I'll show you what I mean. So Steve D, for example, big up Steve, said, we continue to blame player after player without asking the question of Conte. The laws of physics would surely suggest that Conte is the constant. Then you get definitely not Conte's fault. This is like, we've got polar opposite views on everything. But all I want to know is, right? Sorry, Eugene, who else does he start? Fraser Forster. Everyone told me what a great signing in the summer. Free transfer, great business. But yet you mentioned starting him. No, he's crap.
I'm more than happy to start him.
He's looked solid every time he plays, to be fair.
and he's a big man as well. He helps dominate in the air. I see no reason to keep Lloris at the moment. He's there because he's club captain, I think.
Yeah, listen, I agree. Just quickly, Fuzzy Khan, can I name his 9 signings? Yes, Fuzzy Khan, I haven't been growing up under a rock, so I can name his 9 signings. So he's got Bentancur and Kulusevski were his first 2 signings. And then in the summer, he signed Fraser Forster on a free, even Perisic on a free, who everyone told me was his guy, but then on the bench for the biggest game of the season. He signed Longley on loan. He signed, the club signed Jed Spence. He signed Yves Bissouma. He signed Richarlison, and he signed Udogie. Have I missed anyone?
No, that's 9.
Right.
Longley.
He said Longley.
Yeah. So for me, I don't know what the point of this is. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not blaming Conte for the club being in a mess, but I cannot go into games like that watching a manager put 2 in midfield against 3 and think, yeah, that is not on the blame of the manager at all.
Big up Fuzzy Khan though, because it was quite an easy quiz, that one.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean,
where were you yesterday?
The quizzes have been like that for the last 48 hours. Guys, let's talk. I want to talk about Romero. Christian Romero, for me, I've said for over a year, I think is massively overrated. I think he's a good defender, but has absolute liabilities about him. He worries the hell out of me. And again, we saw it. How many times does he step into midfield and goes through people for no reason, gets himself the yellow card, and then for the rest of the game, it's just us worrying, oh my God, what is he going to do? Kuva?
It's the Argentinian style, isn't it? I don't mind it. At least it was something to cheer.
No, but I don't cheer that. That's shocking, Kuva.
No, it just doesn't matter. I mean, in this team, he's down a level, isn't he? He's still a young player. This has got to be remembered. He should be expecting to come to a team in the Premiership that's claiming to be part of this elite Big Six. He should be looking to learn from players around him. He's come here and probably just thought, I'm probably the best one here.
Yeah, true.
What's the point if I've got this absolute crap alongside me? There's no incentive, is there? It's not like he's got Bonucci alongside him or something, and he's thinking, bloody hell, this bloke's brilliant. I'm going to try and learn from him. He's got Eric Dyer.
I know, but again, we're doing that thing where no one who makes mistakes at this club seems to have to take any accountability. So we've got the manager, no accountability. Players like Romero, who should have been sent off today, no accountability. It's everyone else's fault. Hong-Min Son is terrible. Oh, it's the manager's fault for playing him in a different. It's like, well, no one's taking accountability for anything. So who's at fault for any of this, Pete? Because apparently no one takes blame.
Well, it must be us. In fact, it must be our fault. I don't know. I mean, Billy Horrocks. And we've had that one already, but we were playing well before. Well. What game were you watching?
Billy, who picked it?
Last season's game or something.
Who keeps picking Lloris when he keeps making errors?
Yeah. Who picked Sessegnon? Who picked the midfield 2? I mean, Romero should have been. I mean, he's got a yellow card in most games, so that's a given. But then you think, right, calm down, man. Then he starts putting in some really
shocking
worker challenges. I mean, and then the worst thing was then Conte thought, I know what I'd do. I'll put him at right back against Martinelli. And you're like, oh, fucking hell. You might have not enough. Arteta took Martinelli off. But you think just waiting. A disaster waiting to happen.
It's talking about on which level are we going to look at this club at the moment. Bigger picture, it's down to Levy.
Yep.
Below that, you've got to look at the recruitment, and then it's going to be Paratici's domain. Then what's happening on the pitch? You've got to look at Conte. Simple as that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the thing is, so let me ask a question, right? So Billy, he signed, or the club signed these players. Okay, so here's where I'm not a biased fan, as everyone who watches my shows, anyone new to the show, thank you. Please like. If you want honesty, this is the channel for it. I don't mess about. I'm not last word on Spurs, right? Here's the thing for me, Kuva. Isn't it funny that Bentancur and Kulusevski were his signings, right? Funny that, because they're the ones that have done well. Anyone who doesn't do well, we automatically go, they're in the he didn't want them bucket, right? This is the same thing. If we bring him, I said to you all weekend, right? We bring in Porro, for example. You know Cougar as well as I do. If Porro comes in and is brilliant, it will be, there you go. See, give Conte his players. If Porro comes in and is terrible, it'll be, there you go. We told you he's not a Conte signing.
Oh, just a sec, Sav. Fuzzy Khan replied to it. He's saying it was actually a genuine question.
Sorry.
So yeah, we're so used to getting attacked here or sarcastic things in the comments that didn't think it would be a genuine one. But yeah, it is 9 players, mate. It is a lot.
Yeah. Again, here's our mate Greg. Greg is absolutely brilliant. Guys, I've got a number of super chats, so let me go through them. Please please subscribe. Here we go. Just quickly before we do, Eugene, dude, he doesn't have to play any of them. This is the point. We've got to stop saying how many managers will these players get fired. No one's making him play Eric Dyer. Player 2 at the back with Longley and Romero. No one's making him play Ben Davies.
And if they are playing because he has no choice, how are we backing Conte then? Why is he not complaining about these and saying, I need these replaced now? If he said we need 3 windows to turn the club around, we've already had 2. How many? When do you want to reset that and say it's the next 3? Do you want to wait till the summer and then to this window nothing happens? Oh no! From the summer we'll count 3 windows. At what point would you start looking what's actually happened? God, I'd love Greg Spurs to come on and.
Mate, This guy is the ultimate troll and coward.
Yeah.
He sits in the chats going blah blah blah. Honestly, the fans are at fault. You got it right. First of all, I don't remember 22 years of free-flowing football. I mean, I don't know where you've got this from. I've seen some absolute dross in the last 22 years. I
don't even think this is a Spurs fan.
I don't as well. I think he's too silly. Again, agreed. Guna, Greg, we couldn't. I didn't think we could, and I said that at the beginning. Guys, just quickly some super chats. So we've got Borodin. Big up Borodin, as always, my Welsh friend. He said, Conte, last chance saloon. Fans are in self-denial. I agree with that. I really, really do. XOGX Low, who just said I was chatting crap tonight. Thank you for that. And said, give it a year with the next manager. You lot will be saying the same thing. How many times have we been here as Spurs fans? The next manager, same stuff.
Yeah.
For me, it all depends on what your expectations are, though, XOGX Low. Because so many fans back Conte because they think he'll win us something. Our point, and I think I speak for Pete and Kuva here, they'll tell me if I'm not. They're not shy lads. Our point here is it doesn't matter who's in charge. We're not winning trophies. So there's no point having the £20 million serial winner here. I don't know how many times I can explain that. Tim Man 007, thank you very much. I said, I'm fuming. Spent £100 to watch that shite. Conte should just walk away and Mason may as well come into this so this fan base can finally wake up and see where the true cause of this disease is coming from.
You big up Tim Man.
Big up yourself and said, Arteta had 3 bad years and a lot of money spent until this point. We fire managers every year without backing them and expect different results. Yeah. But the point is, your last sentence there, backing them. We can have this conversation and we will every single time we stream. Backing them is the key point. Some fans still believe, like when Ellie was talking last night on the show about, yeah, but maybe Conte wants to be a project manager now. Maybe Conte wants to. Who are we kidding? Conte never wants to be a project manager. He wants to work with the best and win things. And last super chat is Steve D. Big yourself up, and he said, "What about Yaya Sarr? God help us, guys. I don't know about you two. Let's talk about this. I felt sorry. I missed a super chat. I'm so sorry. Vindaloo, lovely name, said, guys, you got outclassed. But I do understand Conte's tactics. He needs to be backed and they need to be his players. Can't see Levy doing that. Yeah, neither can we. I mean, I agree with you. And then, sorry, one more super chat. There's so many people in the chat. There's 2 more super chats. Jamie Allen has said, another game. Son lasted a full 90 and did nothing. Yeah, I think he is dreadful. And sorry if that offends anyone. And Jesus, the super chats are rolling in. Ray Chrisley has said, Conte played a weak squad against Chelsea last year before the window opened to prove a point to the board. Did he do it again? Ray, listen, thank you very much for the super chat. For me, let's start with this, guys. For me, I hear this every window. Every window when we're not signing players, I hear that, oh, well, maybe we did this to spur, no pun intended, to spur Levy on to action. Pete, it's just not what happens, is it?
No. I mean, for me, that's just another excuse, really, for a lackluster performance. It's not as if he put out a load of kids and said, there you go, look, I ain't got nothing else to work with. He had other options on the bench. He could have set up another way to play that game and other games. It's not the first time we've seen it, let's be honest. Yeah, and he doesn't. He's too rigid. And it's not going to work. It's not going to work. He's not going to. I mean, it's obvious, painfully obvious, what the outcome, what this is going to be. It's just a question of who's going to blink first. So just someone get the ball by the horns, whether it be Conte and walks away or Levy and just goes, right, you're not. I mean, it's time. We keep saying it, but acting like a big club sometimes ain't always buying top players and all that. It's about seeing a problem and looking where it's going, knowing where it's going, and go, right, we've got to deal with this now. Not kicking it down the road till its obvious conclusion.
Yeah. And
then lo and behold, the season's ruined in between. I mean, I don't think there's anything to salvage from the season personally in terms of an achiever point of view, but at least then if you do something now, whoever you get in, if you get the new man in, then you give him a chance to sort of have a look at the squad for the summer. I think that's where we are now. It's all about how much can we help the next manager. I think that's where we're working at where we are. And if the people keep saying, who would you get in? Who would you get in? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? You get a manager in who goes, who the chairman's philosophy, whether we agree with it or not, we can't change it. That's his. You get a manager that can implement that philosophy. Yeah. Regardless of what we feel about it, because we can't change it.
Agreed.
Do that at least. Yeah, at least then there's joined up thinking between the two entities. At the moment, there's nothing. We've got nothing.
Agreed. Kuva, I want to talk Heung-min Son. Look, it's tough, right? Because he wasn't the only terrible player out there, but this is now every single game from Heung-min Son. He had one chance. Other than that, every ball that went into him, he lost. His free kick was terrible. I don't know. I was surprised to see him second half. Well, no, that's a lie. I was surprised that Conte didn't pull him for the second half. Are we seeing a player now that we've heard for ages he's just in bad form and form is temporary, class is permanent? Are we now seeing that he's just not good now? Something's happened mentally, physically, emotionally. Something's gone wrong badly there, isn't it?
I jokingly said to a friend of mine is that Son's most telling contribution in the game was lying down behind the wall being a sandbag.
That's what Graham said to me when we were watching it. He said it's the best thing he's done all game.
Yeah, he's seen the same thing. Yeah. He's gone. That's gone. He's just absolutely nothing now, is he? Absolutely nothing. It's now a case of we're playing a player for hoping that he might get a chance in a game and maybe score one.
Yeah.
He's beyond that stage, beyond the luxury player now. He's offers nothing, absolutely nothing, which is such a shame. How's he fallen so fast? It's both baffling and really was heartbreaking. There's no better sight than when Sonny's on form, banging some goals in, and he's got a huge smile on his face. Happy times. It just feels like it's a distant memory already. And he was the Golden Boot winner last year. What the hell's happened?
Yeah, it's not good, is it?
I mean, all I can think of, somebody suggested maybe he's got a bird off the field now, and that'll suggest a lot.
That's what I said last night. I think maybe he liked the bird, and his dad pulled the plug on it when no, you're not having no bird.
Looking miserable enough to think that might be the case.
Can I just say, Greg, the key thing for me here is when we're saying Arsenal bought young, quality players, that's great. But any show we did in the summer, that was not the line from Spurs fans. The line from Spurs fans was that they bought crap.
I think he's being sarcastic. He's saying they didn't buy a young quality player. They spent 400 million. I think he's being tongue in cheek.
Either way, if they spent 400 million, the players they bought go straight into the team. I was told, remember, Ben Scheidt. Ben Scheidt's had a brilliant season, if we're going to call him that. You know, Xhaka and Partey. Look how they handled our midfield with ease. Absolute ease. I was told.
Partey had a cigar. Partey had a cigar all game. Do you know what I mean? He was loving life. He was like that damn. Was that bloke? That damn Beelson, whatever he's called, a cigar, all the birds around him. Every time he was like that. Do you know what I mean? Do whatever he liked.
What makes me laugh about all of this is, you know, we see how they play. We see what they do. You can see what Arteta does in training. That's the thing for me. You know, Graham. Obviously, you guys both know Graham. Graham was the head of academy at Charlton Athletic for many years, and always coached on moving the ball through midfield, patterns, shapes. And he said, if you watch this, he calls me bruv. He said, bruv, you watch this. He said, you watch how a pass into a player, right? And it goes straight back to that player, but that one doesn't stand still. They move, go and receive it somewhere else, and they shift across the middle of the park. That's what they work on in training. That doesn't just happen with good players. You work on that. You watch our midfield get it. Not today. I mean, all season. And it doesn't matter whether it's Benson, Basuma, Højbjerg, Sarr. They get it. They pass it. They stand still. There's no play because Conte doesn't want to play football. Conte wants to use the wide men and hope that everything will come from the wing backs. For me, I'm sorry, guys. I don't want him here. I don't like him. I don't want him here, and I don't like that we've just played a North London derby, and up until I think the 40th minute, we'd had one touch in their box or something like that.
No touches for the first 15. I think when Son had his shot, that was our first touch in their box, I think.
Yeah. I think that was the 18th minute, was it? Something like that.
I mean, Billy Bollocks, whatever his name is, you didn't see what Arteta was doing for the first 3 years. Yeah, they were all over the place, but so were we. But they still won a trophy. You know what I mean? They still had something to show for it. And he was clearing out the decks of some of these big earners, and he was getting backed by the club. And I said, we're not saying everything is Conte's fault, but we're talking about this game specifically. Yeah, so you've got to separate the two. Two things can be wrong. Normally, we have when Potter was here in his peak years, we had Potter was the solution, but the board was always the problem. I think now we've come to a point where Conte is a problem and the board are a problem.
I agree.
That's where we're at. It's nothing. You can say that. You can still be Levy out and don't like these owners and still say, hang on a minute, but there's another problem here at the same time.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I mean, big up Eugene. How you doing, man? You all right?
Fine. It's 4 a.m. in Malaysia now.
Wow. Listen,
I'm pretty glad you stayed up for that.
Yeah. I did a watch along for it. Imagine, my God. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I mean, Eugene, listen, I'm going to call you out on this straight away, right? You know how I work, mate. I'm going to go straight in.
Yeah.
You and many others, all you ever say is ENIC out, Levy out, ENIC out. This is all the problem. Surely today you've got to look at that and go, what on earth was Antonio Conte doing with that lineup? Surely.
Antonio Conte is having a covert war against the board, so he's giving a shit.
Do we believe that though? Do we truly believe that this manager's going, you know what? I'm not getting backed, so I'm going to pick Sarr over Basuma and Sessegnon over Perisic. Do you believe that, Eugene? Really?
I don't know. We can believe what we want to believe, right? But to tell the truth, right? I mean, in that day, we knew what we were getting into in this NLD, right? A lot of us were deluding ourselves to say that we are better than Arsenal. We're gonna beat them, or we're gonna draw with them. Blah 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 blah. But deep down inside, we knew that we are not gonna beat them, right? No. But being a Spurs fan, of course, when we do shows, so we chat with our friends and we banter with other Arsenal fans. We're gonna say we're gonna beat you, and of course that shows pride, and all that. But deep down inside, they were a much better team. They were more cohesive. They had the ball. They passed it, and they had all the connections were there. We were shit. we were shit in the first 45 minutes, right? And come guys, it is what it is, right? Like I was saying in my show earlier, all right. I had a few other fans on and all that. We were talking about it. I said the plan for our club has never been to be ambitious. Our owners were never ambitious, right?
We agree.
It comes down to that. And at the moment now,
but this result did it? This is the thing,
well,
Eugene. Let's separate the subjects, right? Because what we're in danger of doing, and I know I'm going on with Henry Wright after this. I'm going on the Spurs Corner, and I know that when I say anything, it will be Levy, and it's like, yeah, but let's separate Levy from this performance. We have had worse managers, Eugene, with worse squads that have put up a fight and a battle in North London derbies. That first half, again, it showed me that Conte cannot get a team to play from the first minute of a game. He cannot get them motivated.
The thing is that maybe he himself is not motivated anymore.
Possibly.
Then fuck off.
Then it should go.
No, he will. He's going. He's going to fuck off soon.
But when?
Yeah.
Wait, hurry up.
But the thing is that 400k a week, right? It's hard to fuck off.
Oh, I can't have it, mate. I can't have the 400k a week. The man is a multi-millionaire. The man is a multi-millionaire. He will get this money wherever
you get, the more money you want. Simple as
he will get this money wherever he goes. This whole thing where he's not going to go pay out. His payout is only
while he's not going, right? He is doing this. It's all bollocks.
He's not skint. He's not a minimum wage or paying for his shopping with milk tokens or going to Aldi. He is a multi-millionaire. His interest on what he's got in the bank is probably more than what he's getting at Spurs at the moment, and he will get this money anywhere he goes. It will get more than what he gets at Tottenham to make up for it. So this whole thing where
but the thing is that,
paying for, I just don't buy it.
All of us want him to leave, right? All of us want him to walk. All of us want him to turn around and say that after I walk, I'm going to point at, whoever's in charge, whoever did this and all that. But the thing is, at the moment, right? Like he said, we have to be patient.
Yeah, listen, I nearly.
Nearly.
You understand? We have to be patient, right? No, but guys, I understand. The football sucks. We suck, right? It's a weird thing, right? We go into this type of matches, right? And we've lost 2-0, 2-0, 2-0 at home to Newcastle, to Aston Villa, and now to Arsenal. Right. And there's a trend going on there. So maybe there's something going behind. We do not know, right? But what I am saying is now, in the long run, we all do see Conte is not going to stay. Because number one, Conte has always been just a stopgap manager. He's always been the knee-jerk manager when what happened during the MU game, right? So he has not signed his extension of his contract, right? Because if he had signed this extension of his contract, then it would have showed our club had an ambition and showed our club had a vision of something that they wanted to do. But the thing is that he had 40 over days during the World Cup. Couldn't he have ironed that out with the club long time ago, right? So there is some shit brewing behind the scenes, right? So at the moment now, we're just waiting to see what kind of shit is going to float to the top. Simple as that, right? Whether he gets sacked, whether he walks, right? And guys, 16 more days in the transfer window. Maybe he's just waiting to see whether things get worse and worse and worse. Maybe Levy will wake up and support him, but we all know that will never happen. So
the manager of the club, Eugene,
he'll walk.
Hang on, Eugene, but 15 days into the window, let's be fair, we're 16 days into the window by the time we've all finished streaming here, right? Yeah. 16 days into the window, the manager has a bloody good idea of what's happening or what he's going to get and what he's not, right? He's not just sitting there going, I'm going to wake up and put on Sky Sports News like the rest of us. He will know who we're going after and who we're not. At the end of the day, this man is now at this club purely for money. That's what this is boiled down to. And that's not fair on the fans. He does not want to be here.
Do you want another little stat? Oh, sorry.
Sava, 15 years of nothing. Is that fair on the fans?
Yeah, but what's that got to do with Conte?
No, I mean, you say it's not fair on the fans, right? I'm saying 15 years of nothing is not fair on the fans too. So another 2 weeks or 3 weeks, will that make a difference? Right? It doesn't make a difference whether Conte is here or not. It always comes down, it doesn't make a difference, right? If he walks now, who are we going to bring in? Ryan Mason? I guess that will be the best choice, right? Bring him in, let him take over again, right?
Do you know what?
And that will show the ambition that we have, right?
The whole Ryan Mason conversation is symbolic. It's not everyone wants Ryan Mason. The whole point of saying just give it to Ryan Mason is the whole point of saying to the board, it don't matter who's in charge of this club. My concern is this, and I feel like I'll say it again. I'll hand over to Coover in a second. I don't understand how every other manager we've ever had gets shit. They get blamed. They get stick. This manager, from so much of the fan base, Pete's just sent me, I won't mention names, but Pete's just sent me a Twitter conversation between a fan who started by going, if you blame Conte for any of this, then you're stupid. It's like, well, I must be stupid because I've just watched him put two midfielders out against the best three in the league. Let's be fair at the moment. I'm not saying player for player, but at the moment, Arsenal's midfield is the best midfield in the league with that triangle. Our manager decided to put two against them, but yet no one's allowed to say anything about Conte. I'm baffled by it, Coover.
And as for the usual excuse from people like Greg Spurs saying Arsenal spent 400 million quid, that's why they're there, and they gave the manager time. Last season, Arsenal finished below us in 5th.
Right.
This season, they're top of the table. We could be very well be 6th by next weekend. Just put it in perspective. If Brighton win their game in hand, they would be above us now. Right. Midweek, we're playing Manchester City. Brighton go to Leicester. If they win that, they could be ahead of us and have a game in hand. Now, to say about Arsenal spending all that 400 million and like we don't spend money, we spent more than they did in the summer. They have gone from the position of 6th to 1st, spending less than us as we go down the table, spending more than them. Money is not an excuse.
They didn't buy 7 players. They bought quality when they need it.
Exactly.
Less is more. Less is more for them.
So saying Conte's going to work because he's getting backed, where is this backing coming from? I'd love Greg Spurs to have some I'd love to have Greg Spurs have some coherent argument against that.
Yeah, he's not been back. He's never been back, right? At the moment now, we Twitter is always a toxic place, right? Names are being called and all that. No one is actually being polite to each other, right? And everyone takes a chance to stab each one another because we don't actually know who's behind the Twitter accounts and all that, right? Only very few of us, like me, I have my Twitter account. You know who I am. You see me on the shows, right? But a lot of people behind that, they did.
Not you, mate. Greg Spurs. The game was won.
Yeah, he just needs to put an Arsenal badge on.
The game was won. Instead of Party having a cigar in the first half, all 3 of them are sharing one. They had one each. He's what a fuck.
But I got a funny feeling, right?
All I want is fairness, right? All I want is I can't sit here like towards the end of Jose's time. I said, do you know what? I've been a big fan of Jose. I've tried to back him, but now he's got to go because it's got terrible, right? But I can't do that and then sit here with Conte and go, no, he's completely blameless because people blame Jose and he had a worse squad. Conte's got a better squad by a mile, by a country mile, and yet, no, not maybe. Let's look at it. Let's break this down. This is what makes me laugh. People hate Enoch so much that they can't be honest about the managers, right? Look at Jose versus Conte, the squads, right? Conte, this is who he's got over Jose. He got Romero at the back, right? He's got Longley, who was still better than Rodon, who we had then, and Sanchez. He's got Perisic, right? He's got Bentancur. He's got Basuma. He's got Kulusevski. He's got Richarlison. Jose had Bergwijn, Gedson, Vinicius, Joe Hart, Rodon, right?
Oriwe.
And Dombele.
Right. And Dombele, Lo Celso. This is the thing. This is what makes me laugh. That guy was absolutely vilified. Now, this isn't a bring back Jose, not at all. But we have to be fair, Kuva, right? If it's one rule for this manager, then why on earth is the next manager now all of a sudden immune? Not from everybody.
It's not to say let's not say it's immune, right? And then you say to be fair, right? This world is never fair, right? You should know that, right? But the thing,
but that's your decision.
But the thing is that whatever has happened, right? I think the fan base have seen, right? The managers have been sacked, not being back, been sacked, not being back. That's why now they're maybe deep down in everyone who says that you think that they Conte is immune, but actually they are not voicing it out that it's a Conte problem. They are just saying that, right? It's the owner's problem, right? We are not going to come out and shout and say it's Conte's problem. So we do not want to deflect the blame again, because every time when we say it's a manager's problem, we are deflecting the blame.
But deflecting the blame from what? Levy didn't make him pick Sessegnon over Perisic today. Didn't make
deflecting the blame from us being shit for the past 15 years.
But no, this is the problem. You're doing, and this is what I'll probably have these debates and these rows in about an hour with Stel and Will. You're doing what so much of the fan base are doing, right? For me, you're ruining the ENIC and Levy out agenda by putting every little thing that happens on them. Now, the big issues are them, for sure. But the way he sets this team out to play is him. The formation he picks is him. The substitutions he makes is him, right? Now, just quickly, I want to read some super chats quickly because I'm going to get in trouble. Steve D, this is a bit of banter from last night. I said Esther Ranson's legs, though, back in the day. Yeah, Esther Ranson was... Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, why not? Vindaloo has said Conte played a weak team. He wants a payout to walk. Jamie Allen has said, don't forget we struggled to get a manager in before we got Nuno. The next manager most likely won't have Kane and still have to deal with Levy. Of course. Hence why people are going, just get Mason. And lastly but not least, Bob Spur. Big up for a great stream yesterday. No change for me, mate. Lenik won't dictate my ambition of one of the richest clubs in the world. Big up. But again, the problem is, this is the thing. And like, I'm in a group with all these lot about leaving ENIC out. If you, like you are usually, you're in that group. Kuva, you're in that group. But the moment you mention something that might be true that isn't against ENIC or Levy, this is not the place to have this conversation. What? Because it's the truth. So we are not allowed to say anything about this club other than ENIC and Levy out. That is a dictatorship. That's not true.
Yes, possibly. I don't want to talk about it on stream, particularly.
No, I didn't
I think both is wrong. If you blame everything on Levy and ENIC every time, then it just seems like, oh, there they go off again. No matter what happens, is there. The argument is, well, if you try blaming Conte as well, you take away the focus away from the owners. But then if you just focus on the owners, you take away the credibility of that argument, because there are clearly other issues that are happening on the pitch.
Right.
You've got to discuss as well. So you can't just you can have a root cause, and then it's a pyramid of problems, isn't it? We know Levy's at the top of that pyramid, but there's other issues as well.
Hey, big up, Aaron. Long time no see. How are you doing, bro?
Big up, Aaron. Yeah.
Long time.
I'll just say quickly, Sava. I think some of these channels some of them are to do with debates on how to do who's to blame or something like that, or what who's impressed you as the manager, and other certain channels are about how to coordinate on the overall strategies.
No, I get it. But the thing is, this comment, Pete, sums it up for me. It's like we're not allowed to have two conversations. Everything must just be ENIC and Levy out. And for me, Pete, we've known each other years. Me and you hate the owners. We want the owners out. But for me, if we're never allowed to discuss anything at Tottenham other than ENIC out, for me, it dumbs down and dilutes the ENIC out argument. Because now it just seems... Now it becomes purely an agenda, and it becomes dictatorship rather than going, okay, yes, we know we want them out. Let's park that over there. But Jesus, how crap were we today and how bad was the management? But we're not allowed to do that for some reason. and that baffles me.
Why?
Yeah, no, we feed into the narrative with that because we get.
Why aren't you allowed to do that?
But no, we can. But look how many people
You get attacked for it. You get attacked for it. You get attacked from both sides.
Look,
I mean,
how many
guys,
people.
I've been saying this all this while, right? Every fan has a right to feel how they want to feel, right?
Of course.
It's your personal feeling. You can be a Levy in, Conte in, Levy in, Conte out, whatever you want to be, right? It's up to you guys. But what we've been trying to say all this while, right? The problem is the bigger problem. The problem is the bigger picture, right? Of course, some of us will be so the tunnel vision has blocked up everything else, right? Then you cannot see the peripheral of what's happening. But at the moment, right, sometimes I sit back and see is that I try to analyze things like why Conte is doing this. Why are we keep losing at home but winning away, right? And of course, we can't lose to Portsmouth, right, in League One in the FA Cup, right? Maybe there's something going on behind that, right? If we lose at home enough, right, then maybe it will kick up some shit, right, in the stadium for something to happen, okay? And if we win away, it pacifies certain sectors, right? But in the end of the day, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, their own whatever they want to feel, whatever they want to say. But of course, be polite, right? Be respectful when you say it, right? That's why whenever you talk about Twitter, when you talk about Twitter and all the tweets and all that, Twitter is it's the most toxic place to be on, right? Whenever you have a debate, stupid names will come out and all that. So what I feel.
Thing is, Eugene, Arsenal just turned up today and rogered us in our own stadium, and the fans still said nothing. They're right. There's no boos. There's no uproar. There's nothing. What more does it take? What more do we want? What more do we want as a group of fan base to get checked? Then how much more humiliation do we need?
Right,
culminating in that them turning up and sticking it right up our areas, literally, and then start playing cards for the second half. Yeah, what more do we want to see happen to us before the fans go? You think, okay, some of us today on the Levy outside thought if we lose, there's one we might win today and shove it and knock them 3 points. On the other hand, if we lose and lose badly, it could kick off, and then the movement might get a bit of momentum, and we got neither. Yeah, we got neither because we thought, right, at least that's the silver lining here. The fans going to go uproar. Nothing. Nothing.
I was surprised about that too.
Right? So if that's not going to happen, then it's never going to happen because too many fans are worried about pints of gamma ray and this, that, and the other, and the new stadium, and they've got to cut the selfies and all that. If it ain't going to happen, then when your deadliest rivals of who you were wanking silly over beating last year in 6 months have then produced a 17-point return to 17-point deficit, and what more do you want to see happen to you? Yeah, it's the same argument with someone who's going home a poor woman's going home every week to our old man who's slapping her around the gaff. How many? Were you going to wait till he kills you, or are you going to leave? Yeah. What more needs to happen to as a fan for us to go right? Enough is enough. You saw it. We've seen with Everton what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think West Ham are on the brink. Southampton are on the brink. I'm not saying that.
Why wasn't the stadium today at 2-0 down to Arsenal? Why was it not Nick out, Levy out, in the whole game? I didn't hear anything. I won't pay to watch Spurs under Enoch and Levy. I won't give my money to them. But if people do, I'm not against that. People don't want to lose their season tickets. I get that.
Everyone does what they want.
But if you're then in the stadium and don't do anything, what's the excuse? I agree,
and
Pete.
the same as it's like you can't do it today. We can't do it today. Not this game. Well, if you didn't do it this game, when are you going to do it? You can't pick and choose when you do it. Yeah, this was the perfect day to do it because the one you've got an enemy in front of you, and you've got an enemy behind you. Yeah. What more do you want? Yeah. But Pete, it ain't going to happen today. It was the perfect day to do it.
Yeah, but like what you're saying, the end of the day, right? The problems
didn't happen.
Hang on, guys. One at a time. One at a time. I can't hear anything either of you are saying. You're both talking at the same time.
Right, let me finish. Like I said, if it didn't happen, today was the perfect day to do it. I don't subscribe to that. We can't have it today. We've got to be a United club and all this crap because we're not. Yeah. But today was the perfect day. If it goes wrong, to go, right, this is enough. Yeah. This is enough. Because we've had the Super League. We've had managers coming and going. We've had all sorts. Yeah, we've got the whole financial statement thing that we're getting shafted over, that getting hidden, or we wait for that to come out to after the window. What more do you want where your home rivals turn up, tonk you in your own backyard in 45 minutes, and then like I said, chill for the second half, and we're not in uproar at these owners? Yeah, we don't say nothing to the manager. I can understand people don't want to go for Conte in that game. I get that, fair enough. Yeah, but they don't go for the owners. Yeah, even the people, he's like, no, we can't do it today. Well, no, it's no, you can't pick your days. You either do it or you don't. Yeah,
yeah, I agree. I agree.
Choose, because
Yes.
at the end,
So,
okay.
I understand what you're saying, Pete. So in the end of the day, right, the problem is our fans.
I agree. I've always said that.
Yeah, the problem is our fans. So the
Can I
thing
ask
is
you a
that.
question, Eugene? Can I
Okay,
ask you a question?
all right.
When we look at Spurs, the fan base holistically, and I'm not just talking about the YouTube community or the Twitter community. I'm talking about when you look at all the fans from YouTube, Twitter, the stadium, across the world, right? How much of that percentage do you truly believe are ENIC out enough to the point that they want to protest, they want to either not go to games or sing all game out? Because for me, I think it's like there. And I think those fans that are going, enough is enough, it's time for change. I agree, it's time for change. I also like to think that I'm intelligent enough to realise that we're fighting £1 billion owners that will go, I don't care what you think, I'll sell when I want to sell. So what's the end game here then, you? That's what I'm asking. And I'm going to ask the same to Stell, Will and Henry when I go on their show. You know I won't hold back. What's the end game? We want to keep Conte, but we know they won't back him. So what are we doing here? What's the whole point of this club right now?
This is my opinion, all right?
Yep.
My opinion. The Levy in it out, right, percentage overall, okay, in the whole world, I think it's not even 1%. Simple as that. I'll be honest with you, it's not even 1%. Because there are a lot of football fans out there, right, who just go there to see the football and don't want to get involved in the politics. It doesn't mean whether you win or lose or whatever, blah, 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 right? Whether trophy cabinet, this or that, they don't care, right? Yeah. They'll watch their football, right? They will...
Like this, Philo, like this, see? Like this. This is the problem. Like Pete said, today's excuse, it was a North London derby. The excuse for the other day was it was fans' day at the club. The next excuse will be, I don't know, it's somebody Pele died.
No, that's why I'm saying it's the fans is the problem. There are not enough of ENIC out, Levy out fans out there who actually want to band together, right? It's less than 1% because a lot of fans out there, right, will just go and watch the football, enjoy the football, go back home and screw their wives or whoever they screw, right? So what is happening now is that it's slowly building. Right, it has to start somewhere, right? It took Newcastle fans 10 years, all right, to get Ashley out. Okay, we are just starting now. This ENIC out thing, right? There's only one person who's been shouting about it for the past 13 years, if I'm not mistaken. It's Brian Daigle, right? And as a group now, we are starting now, right? 1 year ago, we're slowly building, and if things get worse and worse and worse, there'll be more people joining onto the bandwagon, right? Something has to start somewhere. Unless it doesn't start anywhere, like, of course, we heard chance once, we heard chance twice. They're making their choice now, right? I'm not talking about the football. I'm not talking about the managers, right? Because at the moment with these owners, it doesn't matter who comes in, who comes out. It will always be the same, right? And what I believe in is very simple. The end game is, for me, is very simple. I believe, right, football clubs now are like a small country. Simple as that, right? Because the fans pay the price, whether you buy a jersey, right? Whether you buy the season tickets, it's like the tax you pay. It's like every year you buy a season ticket, it's an X amount of money that you're going to pay the club, right? So the end game is, for me, my opinion, the football clubs should go back to the fans. That's how I feel.
I agree.
That's it.
Cougar, I'm going to come to you in a minute, but I know Pete just wants to respond to this.
I mean, this guy's having a
Oh,
laugh.
sorry.
Who said do it from minute one? Did I say do it from minute one? No one said do it from minute one straight away. But at a point when it gets to that, what we were seeing at half time, it's got to kick off, surely. Yeah. No one says start from minute one.
I also didn't understand why it didn't happen.
And that's my point. The biggest game of the season, we're getting let down like that, and no one wants to say nothing. That is my point. Yeah. Get how it started. Yeah. No one. You get behind the team when it starts, 100%. But when it goes the way it went at half time, the biggest game of the season, the biggest letdown of the season, we're probably going to have this year. Well, how touch wood. I mean, there could be more on the way yet. But what more do you? That surely is the time to go. But no. So
I mean,
got to be silly extremes. Like, oh yeah, so you mean do it from minute one then? Well, no, obviously not. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, I'll say it. I'll say it. I'll say it, right? Coover, I'm coming to you. Philo, I said it because this is the thing. We're either serious about Enoch and Levy out, or we're not. It can't be a part-time thing we dip in and out of. And this is the problem, right? I've said all along, I'll join any protest. Sorry about the dog coming in. He's just had a bath, so he's going a little bit bananas. I'll join any protest, right? I'll do anything that it takes, but at the same time, I'm realistic. When I hear from people, the end game is leaning out. Coover, be honest with me. If the end game is leaning out, and we think it is, how many years are we realistically talking about for a club that's worth 5 billion? This isn't Newcastle. This wasn't Newcastle that was bought for
300
I don't
million.
know, what was it? 500? What was
300
it?
million.
300 million. Right.
300.
This is whatever it was, right? This is a completely different ball game, Coover, because unlike Newcastle, Spurs are a cash cow for our owners. So Spurs, whether we're Champions League, whether we're Championship, we're making hundreds of million a year from boxing and Lady Gaga and Stone Roses and NFL. So to get these owners out, our fans think it's going to be a few protests and we all go, oh, well done, we've got it. These owners don't give a shit, do they, Coover?
No, not until it starts hurting them financially.
Right.
That's the key.
Right.
These
how's
protests,
that going to happen?
These protests that happen, they've got to be with a united fan base inside the ground. And it's got to be where all the sponsors see it, all the people that are backing, that they're paying the money into Enoch, they see it, and people start saying, how come your fans hate you, Daniel? Why is it such a bad atmosphere at the ground? Right. I don't think I want to invest right now. There's something a little bit wrong with your club. As soon as that starts happening, we might get somewhere. But what we've got, somebody said about the problem with the fan base is like so many tourists, and I'd say, well, it's not necessarily a problem if a lot of people come from abroad to watch the game and things like that. Big up to them. It's a dream come true for a lot. I would say that you could apply that being tourists to some of the people that have got season tickets and turn up every match day. And for me, that's football tourists. They don't give a shit about the success. It's just a day out. Meet a few friends, watch the football. Oh, can't even remember the score a few days later. It's like it doesn't matter.
I'll be the tourist.
Yeah, they go more of a fan for than some of the ones I'm seeing lately, mate.
So can I ask a question? I want to ask a question. Look, let's get a sample size here, right? There's exactly 600 people right now. 600 people in the chat. Welcome to every single one of you. I'm four away from 2,800. So please, a shameless plug. Please subscribe. I want to ask everyone, please put in the chat. This could be crazy because we've got a lot of people.
Can you put one of them polls in it? Can you do them polls?
Okay, I'm going to put a poll up. And the poll I'm going to put up is this. Be honest, how many of you were the people in the summer saying that we'd had a good summer and that Arsenal were in our rearview mirror and that Man United were in our rearview mirror and that Newcastle would take years to come good and that we've got a better manager than all of them? I would love, please be honest with me, because those people, and Coover, you were on all these shows with me, those people seem to have disappeared into thin air. Every Friday, remember we did our 4 o'clock show on a Friday. Everyone's disappeared. Sava, you're negative. Kuva, you're negative. We're doing this. We're doing that. Where have you gone? Where have you gone?
Especially when they were using the statements about, look how we're joint top or just a point off the leaders. With record start to the season, best we've ever done in the Premiership. And look at the points total. Look at the goals going in. And we were pointing out, this is a false position we're in at that point. Look at the football. Use your brain. Look what's happening on the pitch and ask yourself, is that sustainable? And we said, no, it isn't. Now that we're being proved right and we have slid down the table,
right,
our results are now worse than we were getting under Conte last season.
Yep.
We're averaging less points per game, scoring less, letting in more. There is nothing to back up that we've made progress so far. Nothing.
But Kuva, also remember, guys, and look, everyone said this. I mean, even all the people who absolutely love Conte and he's this brilliant manager, all said give them a pre-season, a full pre-season under Conte. They'll learn how to play his style of football. Are we seeing then that actually it was better before they had a full pre-season to learn how to play his style? Because even Pete, that counter-attack that we were so good at last season under Conte in the second half of the season, that's gone. We're not even doing that anymore. So
I think that's the problem. They got used. They learned it and thought, I don't fucking like this. This is shit. And just quickly going back to the leaning out thing, how embarrassing would it be on Sky TV and on the match if because you know what it's like. As soon as the home fans start kicking up something, saying the opposite fans do the opposite chant, where the opposition fans are asking the chairman to stay because we don't like him. How embarrassing would that be? Do you know what I mean? Another reason what you could have got it going for.
Yeah. And don't forget that. Yeah, I'm going to do a change too, right? Yeah. Spurs version PT, right? Yeah, 650 subscribers to 1,000.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, PB and Jam, when you say there's no shame in wanting success, Sava, dude, listen, I've been calling out for success for 22 years since they've been here. The problem is, mate, is you get to the point where you go, okay, let's pick our battles. Let's put some. If I'm a project manager at a company, right, I have a roadmap, right, of how to get from here, my starting point, to there. At the moment, if trophies are the end goal, if they're Z and I'm at A, at the moment, we are so far away from achieving Z that I've got to set my roadmap down here as to, right, what do I need to do first to get on the road to winning trophies? So, for example, when PB and Jam, I always call out Greg Spur, like saying, oh, we don't want trophies if you want Conte sacked. No, we want to win trophies, but it's not happening under Conte. It's not going to happen under Nuno or Joe. It's not happening, full stop. That is where fans can't get it. What I would love if anyone is an Enoch or Levy in, right? If anyone really likes what they're doing and wants to come on and debate and tell us what they're doing, I would absolutely welcome that person into the chat. So let me know if you are that person. Let me know, and I will put the StreamYard link in the chat, and you can come on and discuss with us.
The roadmap, right? The first step is to get Levy and Enoch out.
but it can't be because
no. The first step is to have a map.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't win a war in one battle. Yeah, you've got to have loads of battles and you win them, and then eventually you realise you've won the war. It's not a one-off thing.
Pete, we're not even in the battle at the moment.
We're not going to be any battle until there's someone out there with the money to buy the club. So we can do everything we like. We can all run around the pitch naked, start chinning people, run on the pit. It will do nothing because he ain't going to go, okay, well, I'll just give it away to charity then. Of course he's not. Yeah? Or I'll sell it half price. It's not. Until that owner is there it's there with the billions to put it forward to make an offer, which is what happened at Arsenal when their fans got eventually they got more and more, and it was more united fan base in terms of the owners, that another billionaire turned up and went, well, if you don't want to do it, I'll do it. I'll buy it off you and I'll invest in it. Then all of a sudden everything changed. Yeah. but it took them time to get to that point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's battles to get to that point. That was a battle, and then the owners went, "Oh, fuck that! Yeah, we might start doing something here," and they're reaping the benefit of that. But we ain't nowhere near that yet. We can't even do it when we're getting humped at home by our fiercest rivals.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Kuva, I'm going to come to you just before I quickly do. First of all, Faz, welcome to the channel. The man who says we're going to win every game, and when we don't, doesn't come on and say, yeah, I was wrong. Welcome, Faz. Love you too. What are you trying to say, Sava? What I'm trying to say is quite simple. If we want the owners out, yeah, someone show me a plan. Someone show me an actual plan of how that looks. Someone show me a design. Someone show me something that's tangible. Because I hear a lot. Enoch out, Levy out. Great. Okay. How? As Pete just said, they're not going anywhere until you find an owner that wants to pay the 5 billion or 4 billion, whatever the number is they want. We can put pressure on them. But at the end of the day, like Chris Beresford messaged me earlier, Pete, and he said, I'm outside the ground, and he said, there are thousands of fans just queuing outside the club shop. They're all coming out, bags and bags of merchandise, right? So why? What's the need? We want them to back the manager. Why would Enoch back a manager to the tune of 200-300 million in a window, right? When they make hardly any extra for winning the league than they would for finishing 4th.
I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem from what their end game is revenues and profits. Everything's happening. I mean, when I used to work in retail, right, we had the same problem. Everyone would argue how hard it is to do the job and how we don't get enough hours for the staff. We ain't got enough staff. But when there was a director coming around, everyone had to have their shop mint. And you think, well, he comes around, so everything's great here. Look, it's mustard. Everything's lovely. Look, I must be doing something right. And it's the same there.
Look, and then we get this. Beat Kuva, I'll bring you in now. You're not spoken for a while.
It probably will be. That's the sad thing about it.
This is the fan base, right, Kuva? If we beat City,
by
the way, Kuva, how much will Man City be thinking? We've lost 2 games in a row now, something they never really do. Thank God we've got Tottenham at home on Thursday. How much will they be licking their lips?
Two words in that team talk, isn't it? The first one's doctor.
Yeah.
Right, why
you've answered the question. Sorry, Kuva.
Yeah, why are we going to why are Man City going to be in any fear whatsoever? They got a nice juicy home game against us as well. Look at how we do against the other big 6 teams. A terrible record under Conte. Absolutely appalling record. They're just going to be thinking all we've got to do is defend half decently and then just wait for the mistakes to happen. It's easy to play against us, really, isn't it? If you got quality players, you're going to beat us. That's it at the end of the day. We only tend to be flat track bullies against lesser teams with inferior squads, and some of those we come up short in those as well. Should be Villa at home. Don't manage that.
Big backlash coming from someone, and it's going to be us who's going to cop it. Yeah, because they ain't going to keep playing like that forever. Because eventually they will put their arse in gear and then get going, and it's all got to start somewhere. And I have a feeling they'll be looking at us going, well, there's 6 minutes we can have straight away, because they're all over the place.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's going to turn it around is it's got to be happening at a home game, some absolute catastrophe. I think you were right, Pete. It would have been perfect today if we'd taken a 5-0 spanking, and just absolute shambolic from start to finish. Perhaps that would have got enough anger in the ground, but people just go, "Oh, it's a blip. We'll bounce back against City. Oh, we're City's bogey team." Yeah, apparently before we don't lose at home to Arsenal either.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Right. Do you remember when Arsenal fan TV? I think it was when we got Mourinho in, and they still had Unai Emery, and that is that Lee Judges. He was on it and going, "We are everything. They are everything we want to be right now. They are a proper football club." I remember that he done it. How different is that now? How is that the other way?
Yeah,
in the space of how long?
Right, but the thing is, we don't get it right. I just want to say, because this all spans back to a conversation we had last night, and I'm just going to go on a tiny little rant. And there's 560 of you in the chat. Please put in the chat if you actually understand what I'm saying. Guys, I don't think Conte is a terrible manager. I think Conte is a manager that is in this box over here. And this box over here is the same box that that Jose Mourinho belongs in. They're in the box of give us money. We know how to manage big egos. We will win you things. Okay? So that's that box over here. Spurs are in the box over here where we don't spend that big money. We want to buy quantity over quality. So when people like Faz who can't get it through their head, the whole point of Conte being here or not being here is if you want a manager like Conte, you back him. It's as simple as that, right? If you don't back him, there's no point in being here because he's not your archetypal project manager. He's not a manager like Thomas Frank, who's given nothing in terms of transfer. I mean, if anyone can find me what Thomas Frank has spent in the last, how long have they been in the Premier League? 3 years? If anyone can find me what Thomas Frank has spent in the Premier League in the last 3 years, right? And nestled in about 2 points behind us. They're the managers that Tottenham need the way we are right now. I am not saying, I hope people are getting this. I am not saying you bring in a Frank, I'm using him for an example, right? That you bring a manager in like that and all of a sudden we win things. No. But my point is you've got a manager at this club that works in one way. That way is not having poor players. That way is the same as when he turned up at Chelsea and Juve and Inter. Give him money, let him buy top players, top defenders, make the team solid, win something. So all these people go, oh, well, we may as well keep him for a rebuild. He's not your guy. Pete, am I being stupid? Isn't that all really obvious to anyone that's watched football for the last 2 decades that he is not the rebuild guy?
Anyone with half brain, yeah. I mean, Steve D sums it up. He said it a couple of times now. He says Conte is the one who restores works of art, but he's not the artist. And this is exactly what I've said. He's not a coach who coaches teams to progress over a period of time. He is the one you bring in. Like, we should have brought him in once we finished second in the league. We should have brought him in then and go, right, that he's the one who finishes it off. Yeah, same. We should have probably brought Mourinho at that point and go, there's the one who's going to finish it. That's the missing piece. One manager who's going to bring in that mentality for that one game where everyone's got to be an arse, as Mourinho says, clever, you know what, and all that. Yeah, he is not the type who's going to coach Pape Matar Sarr and spend time on a training pitch. He ain't interested in that. That's not his philosophy. He takes the finished articles and put it together. Yeah, he is not the one to produce those finished articles. It's been obvious. He's never done it. Yeah, and he probably never will do it unless he changes his whole way of working. Because he's going to run out of clubs where he can go eventually. There's only so many. But the first time he's come here at Chelsea, and people say, "Oh, what about Victor Moses and all that?" He done one slight change. I don't make out he changed him into a world-class right wing back because after Conte went, he disappeared. We don't know where we went after that. Yeah, so that was just an effective thing at the time.
Sava Fossil Football's in the chat saying he's an Enoch believer and he would like to come on and debate it.
Sure, he can come on. I'll let you on in 1 second. I just want to show you guys this, okay? I want to show you guys this. This is Brentford. This is a club that are in the Premier League. Someone help me. Is it 3 years or 2 years they've been in the Premier League? 3?
Second year.
This is their second year?
Yeah.
Okay. So, look, this is what a team like Brentford did in a transfer window, right? This was their summer. Buying a left-back, who I hardly ever see play. Lewis Potter's on the bench every game. Damsgaard's hardly played. And they are what at the price of, what's that? 30, 45, that's 50 million. And 1 million for this guy, who I hardly ever see play, right? 50 million. Now, let's have a look at the season before. Sorry, 1 second. I just want to say this because it just makes me laugh when we say that Conte's not been backed and the football can't be great, but yet he's level with a manager that spent peanuts. So if I look at Brentford, the season before that, how much do you reckon they spent?
Oh, 30 mil.
The season before that, they spent, and this is in euros, They spent 10, 20, 35, 36 million euros. Right? So what's that? 30 million pounds.
Oh, I had a good guess then, didn't I?
Right? Roughly 30 million pounds. So all these people saying he's not been backed, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but these managers over here with players that they came up through the championship with players that they're buying for 10 million a pop, are a well-oiled, drilled, organised team.
Look at Brighton. Their whole team cost 30 million.
That's my point. Brighton have done it. Brentford have done it. Fulham got promoted this year. And look at them. I watched them today. They are solid. They are organised. The defence doesn't concede a lot, right? And yet, apparently, Conte can't do anything because he's not being given 50, 60 million pound centre-backs. It baffles me. I'm sorry. The excuses have to stop. Who was it who wanted to come in, Coover?
Fossil. No, dying. Where was it?
Sorry,
fossils.
5-9.
Right, I'm going to put it in the chat. I only want that one person to come in. You must have your camera on. You must have your camera on, or I will not do it. And just quickly, we've got some super chats. In the super chats, we have got. Oh my God, where are we going? Hi, current comment. So super chats, we've got George Raffis. Big up, George. Hope you're well, my man. Who said, "I left at half time, disgusted with this club." Loves music said, "I've never felt so detached from Spurs I do now." Yeah. 360k per week. Conte gets to serve that up. Poch made me feel alive as a fan.
Absolutely bang on.
And Aaron, big up to yourself, Aaron, my man. Hope you're well. I said, for the 24-hour stream you did, lads, couldn't watch, was away, but well done. Thank you very much. The show is on YouTube if anyone wants to go in and still donate. Look, guys, we've got another 5 minutes. So if this guy wants to come on, here he is. And I need your camera on, dude. I need your camera on, and then I need to know your name. Cooper, I don't understand your message you just sent to me in the private chat. I need your camera on if you're going to come on stream, my man.
It's 5 to 9, mate. It's 5 to 9. I
know. Here he is. Look, here he is. The dog has got more passion. Guys, look, last 5 minutes. Let's sum this up. What's happening the rest of this season? What happens? Are we just going to go in this merry-go-round every week of talking about it's never Conte, it's always the owners, we can't get more out of them, we can't show passion in a North London derby? Or are we going to see this guy sacked or walked? Guys, give me your last thing, a minute each. Eugene, I'll start with
you. I'll make it quickly. Sack or walk.
You think, yeah?
Yeah.
Which one?
Either one. It doesn't matter. Right. If you keep on losing like this, most probably you get sacked, right? And if most probably he doesn't get back by the end of the January transfer window, February comes along, he'll walk. Hopefully.
Yeah. Just really quickly, Faz, I love arguing with this guy. When you're saying I'm comparing apples and pears, yeah, I'm comparing one manager that's had hundreds of millions already in 3 windows and one manager that spent about 65 million, and yet we're 1 point or 2 points above them. That when you're saying apples or pears, of course we're going to finish above Brighton or Brentford. We bloody well should. We've got Kane, Son, Kulusevski, Perisic, Romero. Faz, you predict every game. You know what he predicts every game?
Do we?
Every game, Faz predicts 3-1 Spurs, and he won't debate it. It's 3-1. It's going to finish 3-1.
Again, to reply to that, in that case, we spent more than Arsenal in the summer. Shouldn't we be finishing even further ahead of them now?
Right.
What's above for number 1?
Right.
Zero.
Always. I just don't believe. Cooper, I'm coming to you to give your minute on what you think will happen, but I just don't believe that the squad is as bad as everyone's saying. I get that we need a lot. But when we're hearing that we can't, that we've got no one that can pass a ball, but yet everyone tells me Bentancur is going to be the next big thing. You know, that we've got no creativity, but Kulu's going to win a Ballon d'Or in 3 years. And Richarlison's Brazil's striker. And Sonny's just out of form. And Kane's world class. And Romero's a world class striker. And Perisic is... All of this, and yet we
can't believe you didn't mention Brian Hill. What sort of fan are you?
Hill.
Get behind the team.
Legend.
Yeah, what am I expecting over the rest of the season? Nothing. Couldn't give a shit, to be honest. Same as somebody else mentioned. I've got no sort of connection to the club at the moment. What am I hoping happens? February the 1st, explosive confrontation between Conte and Levy. And then Conte storms out, has a big blow up in the press, and we all know exactly what's just happened. Then see how many fans are backing Levy when they think Conte's going to be the manager to take them forward. See what happens when we've had another transfer window that's bitterly disappointing, where either we get in a loan deal at the end of the window or nothing at all. Then justify
nothing at all.
Can't even justify we're getting to what's going to be the 15th full day of no transfer activity, and let's say it, nothing going out or in, because those players going out is important as well, and there's no sign of any of that happening. It's just complete standstill, the same as this club. We're just sinking into the mud. Tottenham in the mud, not Sava in the mud.
Sav's in the mud. I'm always in the mud, mate. I'm going to come to you for the last word, Pete. Just before I do, right, I'd just like to say this. Somebody watching the show has just sent me a message and said, is this what you were after? And they've sent me a screenshot. I'll show you, but I'll read it out. A screenshot of Brentford's starting 11, right, that beat Liverpool. This is a team that are 2 or 3 points behind us, right? The goalkeeper cost 3 million. Zanko was free. Ben Mee was free. Pinnock cost them 3 million. Roslev cost 25k. 25k. I paid more than that in stamp duty when I bought my house. Jensen was 3 million. Norgard 3.5. Yenalt 500k. Henry 1 million. Visser 8.5 million. And Mbomo 5 million, Pete. Right? That is what we're talking about. But yet Conte gets a free pass. Right? Conte gets a free pass because we don't give him Bastoni. But yet we're level in the league with these teams. Shocking.
I think too many people think that we're saying that Conte should be, if a new manager comes in, then we'll start winning trophies with this team. We've never, ever said that. No, it's a case of we will play better football with this team. A new manager will come in and get us playing better football. Where that league? Are we going to start winning the league or competing? No, because we ain't got a good enough squad. Then it comes down to squad. Yeah, but at least get the squad playing properly. Yeah, what I think will happen is I think Levy will sack him because he don't want him leaving on his own, Conte leaving on his own terms. You can't have that. No manager has ever left Levy on his own terms. Like you see at the end of Hell's Kitchen when Gordon Ramsay tin tacks the chef to get the old coat, puts it on the hook, and fucking there you go. Levy's got a collection of coats. Let's be honest, he's got Mourinho's coat, Poch's coat, Martignol's coat, Redknapp's coat, AVB's coat. He's dying to get a Conte coat on there and all. Then he's near enough got the full set. So that's what I think will happen because it just makes Levy look and feel better because I took action. Do you know what I mean? Rather than how long that takes to happen, I have no idea. Hopefully, the poor window we're bound to have kicks Conte out the arse and he starts kicking off, and then that will lead to that. Hopefully, but I think my biggest hope for the season is off the pitch is that the movement to really challenge these owners picks up the pace and fans actually get behind it. Fans who sit on the fence, we're not saying you have to start turning up with Levy out t-shirts or getting Levy out tattoos, but see it for what it is. Like when that financial statement comes out, if it says what we're suspecting it's going to say, the fact that they've hidden that till after the window deserves hell to break loose. That's another bit of contempt we've been treated with. So that's my biggest hope for the season is that actually the fans start galvanising between them and go, right, this is unacceptable anymore.
Yeah, look, let's hope that happens, guys. We do need to finish now. What I would say is thank you, Eugene. Thanks for coming on. Always a good chat. Kuva, as always, my man, and thank you so much for the 24 hours on the charity stream. Pete, big up as always.
Come on, only 22 to go. Let's do it again.
Right, absolutely. Everybody in the chat, please, you can find me if you want to see.
You know what, though? That first half felt longer than your 24-hour stream.
Well, guys, I need to wrap up. Please. I need to wrap up, guys. Yeah, if you want to see me, even if you don't, let's all go over to Henry Wright TV. I'm going to be tonight on the Spurs Corner, so his show is starting imminently. Please all come over. Please subscribe to everyone here. Please subscribe to me. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for watching. Much love. And as always, Enoch and Levy out.
Enoch